Welcome to Oppsell, where top sales legends reveal the playbooks they hardly ever share. With your host, Wilson Dike.
Sales solution experts. It's real talk, real strategies.
Starting now.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's episode. And on today's episode, we have a fantastic guest who is well versed in the sales ecosystem with a lot of years of experience in his belt, has won so many deals in the past in multiple regions, multiple continents. It gives me a pleasure to introduce everyone today to Jerry Egboh. Jerry, nice to meet you. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you very much, Wilson. Good afternoon or good morning, wherever you're listening from. So my name is Jerry Egboh, and I currently work for a company called Digital Works, which is more of an information systems consultancy that's focused on helping organizations to improve their business processes using cutting-edge technology solution. I'm pretty much a salesperson with over 15 years experience. I've sold quite a number of business applications, ranging from document management solutions to various workflow tools to Power BI tools, Sage Enterprise Resource and Planning Solutions, Microsoft Navigation, Microsoft GP at the time when it was Great Plains, SAP SuccessFactors. So that's pretty much my story over the past 15 years.
Well, that's exciting because you have a lot of experience under your belt, and it only begs to the question, or leads to the question, how you maintain long-term relationships within your network. Because I see that over 15 years, you have sold different products from different OEMs. What is the secret? How do you maintain long-term relationships within your network?
To answer that question, I think that first of all, it comes naturally as a salesperson. So once you're a salesperson, you would know, they would know that there is a concept behind relationship building, right? Now, how you can actually create long-lasting relationship is actually by not focusing on the deal on the table.
Okay.
Right? So take, for example, you're working on, maybe you're in the ERP space, and you have the responsibility to sell ERPs and all that. As a salesman, the first thing that comes to your mind every time you go out is that you want to meet people. Whether you want to sell ERP or whether you want to sell a solution or not, you always want to meet people, right? And when you meet people, the impression is that you create a long-lasting reputation or a long-lasting impression. Now, how do you do that? By trying to connect on every level, not just by trying to sell them business, like I sell them solution. Like I said, you try to connect on a personal level. You try to also connect on a business level. Try to know more about them. Try to know how you can get involved in their life and how you can add value to their life aside just trying to sell solution to them. That way, there is always a reason for you to keep the relationship going.
Okay, that's interesting. And what you say, what I picked up from what you said is that you just don't sell on a business level, just trying to get a personal rapport with the person on the other side of the table, the person that you hope to sell a service or introduce to one of the products that you have under your belt. So I'd like to ask, what mistakes should be avoided when building professional relationships? Because I believe it's key when you're trying to build a strong sales network. So how would you, or what are the things to avoid when building professional relationships?
I would say trying to sell on the first day. Yeah, so when you meet people, especially C-level executives, try to connect first. Don't try to sell them the solution on the first day.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Yeah, but what I think, this is a good opportunity to have this conversation with you because you've had that experience for over 15 years. There are times that people say, or there's a saying that the C-level executives have limited time. You only get to see them once in a blue moon, and you are, as a salesperson, as an upcoming salesperson, you are always tempted to say, "Oh, this is my shot. Let me take the silver bullet and hit the silver bullet right now and sell." How do you overcome that temptation? Because you might have the mindset that, if I do not sell or talk about my product to the C-level executive in front of me right now, I may not have that chance in the future. So how do you overcome that? How do you ensure that instead of selling on the first day, you ensure you make a good appearance, so much so that the C-level executive, be the CEO, the CIO, would be so interested to having you come over for a proper discussion.
Yeah, so like I said before, it's important that you create connection first before you try to sell. Now, we know that CIOs or CFOs or CEOs, C-suite executives can be very busy, but I tell you what, people are only busy to people that they want to be busy to. People that they want to be busy to, yeah. So they might say that they are busy, but it's just because you don't have that connection yet.
Yes.
These people that you say are very busy still find time to play golf. These people that you say are very busy still find time to go to church, still find time to spend time with family, still find time to even go to bars or whatever, right? Yeah. So I would say if you have 2, 3, 5 minutes to connect with a C-level exec, try to connect on a personal level first. Yeah, because remember that these people are also human, and
Yes.
And most of the times you find out that their family drives them.
Absolutely.
So try to connect with them at that level, and then you will see that if you try to get another meeting to meet with them, they would want to meet with you because, of course, you've created that connection first. I mean, I don't think it makes any sense to walk into an elevator and meet a C-level exec and you want to sell him something. At the first glance, I don't think it makes any sense. So try to connect with him on an entirely different level. Look for something that he's passionate about, aside his business, and then try to speak to him about that stuff. It could be something simple. It could be that he's a man of fashion or a man of style. It could be that you all you need to do is compliment his suit and tie to get the conversation started.
Absolutely.
You understand?
Yeah, I do.
Once you connect at that level, you see that conversations will start opening up from nowhere, right? Instead of getting into the elevator and start telling him that, oh, I work for Suzu company, I want to sell you this, I want to sell you that. How do you even know that he has that need?
Yeah, yes. That's a very, very solid point. Which means that you have to make a lasting impression or first impression, as the case may be, when you have the first time opportunity to meet a CEO, the first time maybe in an elevator and make that elevator pitch. So instead of making an elevator pitch about your products, switch that up and make a lasting impression, an impression that would make you stand out from every other person, every other salesperson that meets that particular CEO trying to sell them something. So that is very, very important. Thank you for shedding light into that. So I still believe that, as a salesperson, you are always, you're always having your foot on the streets. You're always going from door to door, attending conferences, attending events, making yourself known, making the services that you have to offer known. How important is attending industry events for building network? So how is that important to you, and what's your experience from your take and your experience so far in this regard?
I think it's very important to attend network events because that's where you meet people. That's the easiest place to meet a lot of people at the same time, right? It's not very easy to meet people on the streets. Sometimes they are driving, and if they're not driving, they are walking or they are going somewhere. It's most times not ideal to just stop people on the road and start trying to network with them. So attending network events, you get the opportunity to meet different people at the same time.
Okay.
You get the opportunity to meet them in a more relaxed environment. Right, and people that go to network events go there to network. Be it a CEO or a CFO or CIO, they also go there to network. So they go there with an open mind, an open heart to also meet people. So I think that it's very, very important as a salesperson to try and attend as many network events as possible.
Yeah, that's good. But we see, like you rightly said, as a salesperson, you need to be at the event halls, at networking grounds, just to network, so that you can build a huge portfolio, right? Then what's the best balance between the actual networking and other sales responsibilities? Because as a salesperson, other than creating leads, generating pipelines, there are some admin tasks that you need to keep in the balance, to keep in check. There are emails that you need to put reminders on, and you also have to go outside to network, especially when you are in an environment that you are an individual contributor as a salesperson, which means you are the one in charge of your pipelines, you're the one in charge of your account managing, you're one in charge of net new logos, and you are one in charge of customer management, customer maintenance, as the case may be. So how do you strike that balance, between networking, which is a very huge part of the sales responsibility, and other sales responsibilities, so that you come out tops and none of these responsibilities will be suffering because of the prevalence of one task over the other?
I think that this would have to do with effectively managing your time. Right? So when you're able to effectively manage your time, you know how to segment them. You know when it's time for networking, and you know when it's time to do admins, right? I, for one, I love to do my admins in the evenings or at night when I'm at home, right? During the day, I would prefer to meet people, build a rapport, listen to customers' problems or customers' challenges and all that. So it boils down to time management.
Okay. So time management is key for that, because like for you, I think the idea here is to find a working formula for every salesperson. Like you rightly stated, you'd rather do your networking or your admin work rather at the end of the day. Some would like to do the start of the morning so they know what they're up against. Some like to do it when they're having an opportunity to grab lunch during their lunch break, just to quickly run through admin. The most important thing is to find what balance, what strikes the balance for you, what resonates with you the most as a salesperson. I, for one, if I'm an early morning guy, which I believe I'm most productive in early mornings, and I wake up, say, for 5 or 4 a.m., that would be a good time for me to check all my admins to see what I've missed, things that are important for the day, or things that I could just push for that down the week or down the month. So I could get that as a formula. And for you, just before you close up your laptop and call it a day, you can just decide to check up all the admins, silly things that you could push and get ready for the next day.
Do all the follow-ups. Thank you for today. Next steps.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, that's great. Okay, so one more thing with regards, building a strong sales network is, as I would like to get your perspective on how to approach, cold networking opportunities effectively. This is something you're not strange to. You have been in this for a while, based off of your experience. So tell me, from your own point of view, how would you approach your cold networking opportunities effectively?
Okay, so to be honest, I'm not a big fan of cold calling.
Why is that?
No, I'm not, and I'll tell you the reason. One of the things that we were taught over the years, in most of the trainings that I've attended, is that the reason for your first meeting, get another meeting.
Okay.
The reason for your first meeting, or for your introductory call, your introductory meeting, is to get another meeting.
Yes.
It is when you get another meeting that you can now start trying to talk about solution, or talk about how you can add value to the person. So how do you get the other meeting? It boils down to what we said earlier. You have to connect first. Right? Yeah. So for me, I would say, if you must do cold networking, use the opportunity to connect so that you can get another meeting.
And what you say is off, a strategy I picked up off recent. I remember a couple of weeks ago, I was at a conference, and there was a networking conference. We were talking about technologies in a particular industrial sector. And my mindset wasn't, because everybody was all looking to hear the new trends in the sector, what should be afraid of, and how the impact of AI and large language models such as ChatGPT. So I felt that, I needed to get more networking or get more reach to customers and potential customers. My mind was, if I go in here and start selling my products, that I would just look like a clown. And I said, the first thing I need to do, or the best strategy would be to warm up to any prospect I feel that's exciting enough to have a conversation with me, and strike up a meaningful conversation about the discourse of the event, what has been talked about, what are the trends, and how it affects or will shape the businesses of the prospect, and look forward to pushing an opportunity to have further conversations where I can come in what I wanted to do in the first place, which is to introduce myself, introduce the services that I have to render, and see if there are possibilities of alignment of our synergies. So I believe what you say is, I want to lean to what you say, where you say, the essence of a first meeting is to ensure that you build up and gain traction to push to another meeting where the main discussions of the businesses starts to be unfolding. All right. Thank you for that. So let's move on. I mean, away from building a strong sales network. Let's talk about negotiations. Because it's quite key in sales. Yes, you've done the cold calls. Yes, you've led up to a point where the prospect is interested, and you are sensing an opportunity for a closure. But negotiation is a technique that you need to have and be very well versed in. So, what are the key principles of successful sales negotiations? Can you tell us?
I think one, which is the major key principle of a successful sales negotiation, is understanding that every sales negotiation should end up at a win-win situation. Right?
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, the customer must be able to walk away feeling satisfied. And then you, as a salesperson, you should be able to also walk away feeling satisfied, feeling that, yes, I've been able to meet my customers' requirements and they are willing to pay me XYZ amount of money, which is okay for me to take back to my company or take back home. So going there with the mindset that it's a win-win situation, not to go there and win alone and then leave the customer hanging.
See? Okay, so how do you make sure that everybody smart goes home happy? Because there are instances where let's use an example. You are the end of a quarter, and you believe that if this sale comes in, it will help help get you closer or exceed the target for the quarter rather. But that will come with a lot of compromise from your point of view, where you have to make a lot of discounts. And when you put that discount in, even if the client is happy, you stand the chance of not meeting that quota for the quarter.
Yeah.
How will you create a scenario where everyone goes home happy, even the salesperson?
Okay. Yeah. So I think that one of the mistakes that salespeople have or salespeople make is that they allow themselves to be consumed by pressure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So in as much as a salesperson, you have pressure, you have sales targets, you have deliverables. Most times you go out for meetings and your boss is expecting you to bring back the PO. And of course, you want to make sure that you do just that.
Mm-hmm.
You also need to be able to soak in pressure. You understand? That's why I always called salespeople leaders.
Yeah.
That's why leaders, because a leader is someone that is able to take in pressure. Let's take, for example, you're a line manager, right? And then as a line manager, you're getting all sorts of bombardment from the board to deliver on your numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You know very well that your subordinates still need extra training, still needs extra handholding, and they're not there yet. Do you just absorb the bombarding and then deposit it on salespeople like most managers do?
Mm-hmm.
You try to absorb it and then manage the salesperson or manage the subordinate more effectively, such that he gets to a time where he begins to deliver. Right? That a good leader knows how to absorb those pressure while still trying to do his work more effectively. It's the same thing that boils down to a salesperson. So a salesperson must know how to absorb pressure coming from his own boss, right? And not making that pressure come in between his actual dealings with the customer.
Okay.
Right? You should also still know when to walk away.
Okay.
Right? As much as you actually want that deal, you should know that, okay, look, if it doesn't meet my needs, if it doesn't suit me, I will walk away.
So you should have the foresight of notifying or spotting when a deal is going to be thorn in the flesh in the future.
Yeah.
Because there are times that, yes, you strip off all the discounts if you have discounts, and at the end of it all, in as much as you took a lot of heat and probably lost your commission for that sale, and you are all in the business of ensuring the customer is happy, along the lines, you always find out that such deals are problematic, and it's more expensive than even the cost of acquiring that deal. So it's something that is very, very important. So I think, as you say, you just have to have that foresight. You have to have the mindset to say, hey, if this deal doesn't go through, and simply because it doesn't meet my expectations, and I sense that, as juicy as it is for the customer, or as nice as it is to have that customer in my portfolio, at this point in time, it's not beneficial for the business, it's not beneficial for my brand. And having that decency to walk away, knowing fully well that you're going to get a lot of stick from your manager for walking away, it's a rare talent and a rare skill. So is this something that can be built upon, or how do people get to that level where they are at the finish line? It looks rosy, but at the end it's wrapped with thorns. And how do you get to say, okay, no, this doesn't work for me? How do you have that courage to walk away and seeing an instance where you are so far behind in your quota? How do you, have that decency to say, okay, you know what? As much as it's going to help my quota, I need to walk away. How do you do that?
Yeah, I think these things come with a lot of experience, right? It comes with a lot of experience and understanding the sales process.
Mm-hmm.
Understand? So, for example, when you go into a sales negotiation meeting, right, and then you have at the back of your mind first that every sales negotiation meeting has to be a win-win situation. Drop every other thing that you think matters to you. Right? And then focus on that negotiation. Your boss, drop him in the office or drop him outside the meeting room or the conference room or where the negotiation is going on. Let him stay there, right? And then focus on the negotiation. The reason you're going in for that negotiation is actually to create a win-win situation. If it's not a win-win situation, anything you're doing, just try to measure it. Is this a win-win situation? Is the customer going to be happy? Is happy? Yes. Am I going to be happy? Yes. Then we have a deal. Is the customer going to be happy? Will I not be happy? Then no. Or the other way, right? So whether you're under pressure or not, are you going to be happy with this deal? Are you going to be happy if you're doing 95% discount?
No.
The answer is no.
Yeah.
Even though the customer might feel happy about it, the answer is no. So you should be able to say no. Yeah. And then if you have the mindset of understanding that when you devalue your product, when you throw away too many discounts, then you're actually devaluing your product.
Yes.
You'll be able to stand your ground to say, oh no, I'll walk away if it doesn't favor me.
So that's the principle that every salesperson must have. The discernment of having the ability to say no when the deal doesn't look favor the salesperson at all, even if it favors and over favors the customer or the prospective customer. The salesperson has to look after themselves and the business. Yeah. So getting, like you said, a 95% discount and making the customer happy is a lot of chaos for you, because that's an expensive deal to close. It's going to cost the company a lot of money. Even a lot of money to implement, be it an enterprise or ERP solution implementation. That's going to be expensive, and that will be running red in the books of the business. Yeah. Okay, that's great. So active listening is something key, because with this you can, when you listen to customers and prospects, you can decide, you can understand where they are tilting towards, right? How has that shaped your negotiation skills, active listening, that is? How has it made you such a successful negotiator that you are?
Yeah, so I would say that another important skill, I'm not sure why we've not touched on that. One of the one of the most important skills that a salesperson should have would be listening skills,
Yes.
right? Like,
Yes.
yeah, like we say as salespeople, listen to us as much as you speak, right?
Mm.
So spend a lot of time listening to your customers, right? And it is only when you listen much more than you speak that you'll be able to understand their pain points. You'll be able to
Okay.
understand what really matters to them, right?
Mhm.
We see a lot of salespeople go out to meetings and they are the ones doing all the talking, right? They go for presentations, they're doing all the talking, they're not giving opportunities to ask questions, they're not giving any opportunity for customers to even tell you what their requirements or what their pain points are. But when you listen enough, when you walk into that sales meeting, you walk in fully prepared
Mm.
because you have all the information that you need to actually nail that deal, right? So you understand what the pain points are. You're able to use your solution to address those pain points and then put a price to it. And then you're saying, hey, Mr. Customer, I know that this actually means a lot to you. And this is how my solution is going to help you address it, right? And then this is how much it will cost you. So listening would help you to put together a proper business case
Mm.
for your deal.
Okay, yeah. I mean, listening, active listening, we hear it all the time. People say you need to have, listen more, speak less. So why do you think that salespeople are so, anxious or so forget about that, if I want to use that, and go into calls, go into meetings and start talking about the products, services, what they can do, what they stand to benefit if they sign up to this product or contract? Why don't they sit down to say, okay, what are we discussing? Why? Because I have had conversations, I've seen from experience, a lot of salespeople, when they go into sales meetings, they just as though they are rolling a script talking about features, bells, whistles, services, and not even taking out time to listen to the customer and say, hang on a minute, what is your problem? And do I even have what it takes to solve your problem? So why are salespeople always hell bent on, pitching products and services as against being a listener to understand what the verbal cues, non-verbal cues that the prospect might be saying, to which can aid the salesperson to close a deal or even go further in the conversation?
Yeah, I think this this usually happens amongst the younger generation,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, so you find out that when you hire a fresh graduate that claims or feels is passionate about selling, right? You give him a product, he's excited about the product, he wants to show off the product, he wants to start talking about the product to the first person he comes across to on the road or on the street, right? But as you go into sales proper, maybe over the years, you begin to understand that the feedback that you're getting when you try to sell at first glance is always negative, right? So most times experience will guide you or training will guide you, right? But you find out that most times salespeople that jump into product demonstration or talking about product at first meeting are the younger ones, right? So experience will teach them, or if they are properly trained, they will know that there will come a time when you can demonstrate or showcase your product. But your first, second, or even third meeting is actually to sit down and listen to the customer's requirement, to even know if you have the right solution to meet their requirement, their needs.
Okay, yeah, that is from the sales point of view. We have, and of course you must have seen this, where you are talking to a customer and the customer is saying, what's in it for me? Can I have a demonstration at the first meeting? How do you navigate such customers and steer them to your sales road to close plan? Because you have a plan for every account, and of course you do not have the mindset, or you don't expect to start selling in the first instance. But you see some customers who say, or prospects, I beg your pardon, who says, look, I don't have much time. Tell me what I'm dealing with. Let me have a product demonstration. And that's the first meeting. So how do you avoid that? Because 9 out of 10 times, those deals do not close. Those deals just fall by the wayside. So how do you ensure that you put your foot on the ground as a salesperson to say, well, yes, I know that you're interested, you're excited about this, but this is not what I want to do. So tell me from your experience, I'm sure you have come in contact with such such prospects in the past.
Yeah, I think you need to manage those kind of people, right? First of all, you need to have at the back of your mind that people that would ask you for demos or even ask you for pricing at first meeting will most likely not buy. You understand? So they are just sizing you. They might actually have a requirement for that solution, but they want to see whether your pricing is better than somebody else's pricing, right? Because if you are going to be selling a software solution that is very expensive to a customer, and the customer doesn't want to take 1 or 2 days to sit down and listen to you, you think that customer is a serious one?
Yeah, of course. Probably a time waster.
Time waster. Somebody that wants to invest $100,000, $200,000, $500,000 into a software solution will be patient enough to listen to what you have to say, to go through the process with you. So I would say always insist that this is not your process. Always insist that this is not your process, that you cannot just start demoing solution at first meeting. Most times what I tell them is that my instance is not working, my instance is not here at the moment, or my demos are being handled by a different team. So we need to schedule a meeting with that team. So that way you get what you want at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's good. So the key word here is, or the key strategy is, beware of time wasters and ensure that you steer everybody back to your own strategy, your own plan. Don't let them derail. Because if they eventually derail and someone sizes you up on the first instance, asking you for the price of a project or a price of a product, then, like you said, they're either using you to compare notes with other product vendors, or they just want to size you up and see what it is. Because really and truly, if a software is going to cost millions or thousands of dollars, the prospect should have time to understand what they are getting into and what they're going to stand to benefit in terms of how close that product or service would address the needs or pain points. Okay. So so for price objections, now this is where we talk about price. And eventually, yes, we've gone doing the negotiations, and you have a very good price, a good price point that will be beneficial for you. And anything below that will be beneficial to the customer, but you to start having negative benefits for you. How do you ensure that you overcome, price objections and make sure that you stay at a profitable point throughout the sales negotiation process?
Right, so every objection would come as a result of a concern, right? Any customer asking or trying to throw in any objection is because he has some concerns, some very, very legit concerns that needs to be addressed, right? So first of all, you try to understand what those concerns are. So you're done with the negotiation and they're asking questions around payment. How flexible is your payment process? What's their concern? So let's say, for example, their concern is that they have cash flow issues. They want the solution, they're happy with the pricing, but they have cash flow issues. How can you meet them at the center point? Do you have payment options that allow installment payments, right? Do you have some sort of trade by barter service? I remember when I used to work in a training outfit, when we go to sell to some companies, manufacturing companies or stuff, they might tell us, oh, we don't have money. But my MD being a salesperson will tell you, okay, maybe in the office we need so materials. Okay, we do a trade by barter. You give us, if the trading is 70,000 naira, you give us your goods worth 70,000, and it's fine with that. I mean, organization would work that way. You understand? They don't mind a trade by barter kind of service.
Oh,
yeah. Some would say we don't do trade by barter, but we can do flexible payment terms. We can break our payment into 5. We can break it into XYZ amount, number of times and all that. So you need to first of all find out what are those concerns, and then do we have a mechanism as a business to address those concerns? If those mechanisms actually exist, then you need to look for how you can put it into play so that the customer will be happy at the end of the day.
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, the trade reverter part is quite interesting where, you go to clients and prospects and say, hey, I like your service, but I don't have it. Say, oh, by the way, I like the product that you're manufacturing. So if you can give me the cost equivalent of my service in for your products, then everybody's happy. So yeah, that is a good strategy. So remember that, guys. Trade reverter is something. Creating payment plans where payments can be done over multiple installments could also be something, and also addressing their objections to what it is that they're not happy with the price. So that way you can get to the crux of the matter, and get the deal across the line. Okay, so now we're in a different section. We call the segment, we call it the sales war stories. Now, this is where I ask you just 2 questions. You answer it in 1 minute, and this quick fire questions. Okay, are you ready, Jerry?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. Can you tell us a story or share a story of a deal that did not go as planned? What happened?
So many deals that we've done in the past, that I've been involved in the past, that didn't work out the way we planned for quite a number of reasons. It could be that we're not talking to the right person.
Mm-hmm.
The right decision maker wasn't carried along. It could be that they claim to have a budget when they didn't have a budget, right? So, for example, I'll give you a scenario. We met this customer. We had discussions with the customer. They were happy about the solution. We ticked all the boxes, dotted all the I's. We asked them, do they have a budget? Oh, yes, fantastic. Do you have C-level buying? Oh, yes. They do. Oh, when is the timeline for this project? They gave us a timeline. And then we walked them through the solution, and they got to a time where they had to sign off, only for something to happen. MD lost his mom. Yeah, MD lost his mom, and that was it. Right. So I don't think we ever got the deal afterwards, because at some point the MD had to take some time off to go attend the burial, and then when he came back with a fresh idea in his head to implement for his business. So that stopped being a priority for him and became down the food chain, if you ask me.
Oh, okay. So that's interesting. So the second question would be, how do you recover mentally from losing a big deal? So what are the things that you do? What ritual do you perform when you lose a big deal? Do you just how do you dust your disappointments away and go on to the next?
I believe every salesman knows that. In selling, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
You understand? So, 2 things. Having that mindset that not everybody will buy your product is one.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, having enough pipeline will give you some confidence to stand up and move again. Right? So, say for example, you have the responsibility to sell a phone to a customer, to several people to meet, or you have the responsibility to bring in XYZ amount of money, right? And you're selling phone, right? You need to understand that sales is a game of numbers. You need to understand your sales process, and then you need to build adequate pipeline. It's different when I try to sell this phone to only one customer, and then when the customer says no, you feel really bad. But when I have 20 more people to talk to, and then customer A says no, I mean, it's easy for me to say, okay, bye, I go to customer B. Yeah, so that also helps us to move on from disappointments when the deal doesn't go as planned. Having adequate pipeline at every point in time, so that you keep engaging customers as you go along your sales journey.
Yeah, that's good. So I would like to coin it as a law of averages. So you should have, the more options you have, the better your chances of getting a deal. So if your pipeline is this big, successes increase. If you have a very small pipeline, 1 or 2 deals, then there are chances that both of them can fall by the wayside, and you end up being sad. So the ritual for you guys is this: have as much as possible. Your pipeline should be so big, as much as possible, as large as possible, and don't just put deals that have not been well documented and well screened. It has to be screened to get into your pipeline so that you understand, or every point in time, you are truthful about where the deal is and how easy or how soon the deal is to closure. So it's quite important that you have that. Okay. So we're getting to the final segment of this chat, and it's for the young ones, the guys that are looking to pivot either to sales, or the guys that are looking to start a career fresh out of school in sales. What are the advice or pieces of advice you can give to them in terms of from your own experience? What was the pivotal moment that shaped your tech sales career? What made it say, okay, I'm so good in this?
I think that there isn't any particular moment that shapes one's sales career, right? Every area of your sales career actually matters. Every area of your sales career will pivot you into the next one.
Yeah.
And then the next one and the next one. So I think there was a time in my life where I was selling insurance, right? And then I moved to selling technology solutions. I will not discount that part of my life when I was selling insurance to say, when I was selling insurance, I wasn't doing anything, or it had nothing to do with, because that gave me doggedness, right?
Yeah.
If you sold insurance before, you know that insurance people are very, very, have got a lot of tenacity.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and one of the key skill of being a salesperson is having tenacity. Right. So that gave me a lot of tenacity being an insurance salesperson. And then moving into selling with a lot of support from executive management and all that also shaped me, building my confidence to engage customers and all that. So every step along the way has been beneficial towards me, just getting me to where I am today.
Okay, interesting. And so for the guys, the young ones, the young sales, aspiring sales professionals, what advice would you leave them with today? What are the things they need to know today that would help them, shape them, get them better prepared, and increase their confidence as they're getting into the sales terrain or becoming a sales professional such as you?
Right. So I would say listen to us as much as you speak. Right. Don't be in a hurry to sell your product. Listen to us as much as you speak. Yeah, that's number one. Yeah. Number two would be sales is a game of numbers. Right. Have that at the back of your mind, that you need to have a healthy pipeline to thrive in selling.
Yeah.
Unless you're extremely good in qualifying your deals, you need to have a very, very healthy pipeline. If you need to have 4 times pipeline cover to be able to meet your numbers, go for 10. Go for 10 times pipeline cover. It will give you a better chance to meet and even surpass your sales budget. But I think with these two, right? And then lastly, you need to cultivate the habit of relationship building. You cannot even start a sales conversation if you don't know how to build relationship and keep relationship. So those 3 things would help you to do well in your sales career.
Okay, that is listen twice as much as you speak. Have a very huge pipeline. Go for 2x, 3x, 4x pipeline. That gives you a lot of cushion and makes you very comfortable. And the third one is your networking, right? Yes. Relationship building. Have your strong networking strategy. Build relationships within your business, outside your business, as much as possible. As a salesperson, you need to be out there because you are the face of the brand or the product that you're selling. You are the person that will be at the forefront to evangelize the services, the products, and the benefits of the product or software or service that your company has to offer to the audience. So those are 3 very, very important tips for everyone and anyone who is already in the sales journey, who's thinking of joining the sales journey, or even the experienced ones who are finding it a bit difficult and need to know some things to shape up or change so that they can get better results. Okay, so Jerry, tell us, where can we find you on social media? Do you have a handle you want to share to the public?
Yeah, sure. So I'm available on LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn. I can share my LinkedIn profile with you.
Okay.
You can just search for me using Jerry Egboh,
Okay.
and you will find me. Or I can drop it, and that I can also drop it on the chat. So that, yeah.
All right, that's great. So the Jerry's LinkedIn profile will be on the transcripts of the podcast, and of course it will be attached to this wherever you get it. So at this point in time, we've come to the end of this session. I'd like to say a big thank you to Jerry for your sharing this wealth of experience. I'm sure people listening must have learned a thing or two. And this is what we do here, just to make sure that we bring the voices of the top successful salespeople and find ways to be successful at it by listening to voices like you just heard from Jerry. So thank you so much, Jerry, for your time.
Thank you, Wilson. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. All right, guys. See you on the next one, and have enjoy the rest of the day. Bye.